I'm going to ruffle some feathers with this one today, and to be honest, I really don't care. If you are more worried about punishing the predators than you are protecting and taking care of the survivors, you are still operating out of patriarchy conditioning, and you are not ready for a matriarchy. On top of that, you're still living in a fantasy realm of what the justice system actually looks like for survivors. For those of you who don't know, my name is Kelsey. I'm a spicy educator, a somatic sex and intimacy coach, and I specialize in alchemizing trauma and conditioning into pleasure. And before anybody comes at me, I would like to remind you that I'm also a trauma survivor, and I'm also a child trauma survivor. I live in Salt Lake City, and this week a Utah judge gave a former police officer who pleaded guilty. I'm going to say that again. A former police officer who pleaded guilty to abusing and having images of a child 30 days in jail. 30 days. And he pleaded guilty. He admitted and acknowledged what he did. And he got 30 days. Now, I'm not saying that I don't want justice to be served, but this is currently what justice looks like for us. He abused a child, and that's what he got. You think they give a damn about us as adults? I know firsthand that they didn't care when we were children. What made me think that I was going to be okay as an adult? If the first questions out of your mouth are not, what can I do and what do you need? You're having the wrong conversations. So often, when I have come forward, because I have had multiple as a child and as an adult, the question has been, who did this to you? What happened? Did you report it? And to be honest, it feels so disingenuous to me because it feels more like ego of them wanting to know more information about what happened than actually giving a damn about what happened to me and how I get support. And that oftentimes is a real reality for trauma survivors. We are actively witnessing real time the highest position of political power you can have in this country, with his name all over the files, his cabinet all over the files, and the only person sitting in a jail cell right now is a woman. And so then what? For abusing a child, he got 30 days. And after that 30 days, they're back out on the street. And guess where they usually go first? They head straight back to their victims. And because we don't have the level of community support, they often win that battle too. So if you really actually want to participate in a matriarchy, if you actually give a damn about the survivors and this absolute performative activism and performative bullshit, I suggest you actually start to look at what options you have to actually put yourself in a position to where you can make a difference, to where the justice system is in our favor, so that the community outreach is there, so that when trauma survivors go to actually report, there is a strong community foothold and fortress for those trauma survivors, because that is actually what a matriarchy is. A patriarchy operates in hierarchy. It always has. And it operates from force and forced domination and a lot of fear. A matriarchy always puts those that are most vulnerable in the center. And it's like a circle forms around them. It is that fortress of protection. That is what a matriarchy looks like. And we don't have that level of a system and structure for trauma survivors. We don't. Who did this to you? What are you going to do? Besides go yell on the internet. I chose to specialize in trauma to help trauma survivors. Maybe go to school and become a judge and don't dole out a 30-day fucking sentence for a child abuser. That should be life, minimum. For a child, it should be life. And the fact that because he was a former cop, 30 days is unacceptable. What actual, tangible action, steps, and positions can we start putting ourselves in that actually do something? It's not always easy for me to put myself in a position where my own trauma potentially gets triggered. But I know how much I needed that when it was me. How much support I got that reporting wouldn't have done me, because I know what positions of power my abusers were in. I know what roles they had. I know what connections they had. Again, highest positions of power in the United States right now, and nothing's happening. And I promise you, I would also like to see them in a jail cell. And I have also come to terms with the fact that I may never actually get to see that. That the only thing I may actually get to see is a woman. One woman behind bars. And there wasn't anything that I could do to punish them, so I went the other direction on how can I actually make a difference. And that is what I would like to see more people actually stepping up to do. What action we actually take that make a difference? How do we actually move the needle forward? Because constantly bitching about it and pretending to act tough doesn't actually do anything. Because when push comes to shove, you'll listen to that person, you'll get all of the information on what happened, and you still won't do a damn thing about it. You still won't act as a community support for that person. Having somebody go in with me for all of my testing and to hold my hand through that, and to hold my hand through a lot of my recovery stuff of the pain that I felt, and then the emotional side of that, that was actually impactful. That was actually impactful for me. Having somebody listen to me, having somebody help me move through it, having somebody hold me when I cried, that made a difference. False promises and performative toughness never actually helped anyone.